morning, guys. How are you? So here we are again in my living room. I had really hoped that when I made that intro video that we were going to be able to meet back in the classroom. Unfortunately, we all know we're not. So here we are. It's the living room. Welcome to my house. Okay, so today we're going to get a little bit of information about some Greek mythology. Really small amount of information today, and then we'll grow as we go through the videos, okay? So today we're starting with influences from Greek mythology for today. How does it all line up with us? Okay, so why are we going to study Greek mythology? A few reasons. Greek mythology continues to have an influence on how we live currently. That's hard to believe. I was a little surprised at some of the influences I saw when prepping for this, so we're going to look at those. References to Greek mythology, we can still find those in our discussions about science, arts, literature, architecture, language, names, and brands. The brands, that was the one that kind of shocked me a little. All right, thinkers from ancient Greece also laid the foundation for many areas of study, including astrology, we know that, mathematics, biology, engineering, medicine, linguistics. And then finally, everywhere we turn, everywhere we look, even today, there is likely a reference to Greek mythology from maybe what you're wearing, in the sports shoes that you pick out, in the sports teams that you root for, the name given to your breakfast meal, we're going to look at that, the way a building has been constructed, even the music you listen to and the poems I make you read at school. All of these have some sort of Greek mythology influence. All right, so let's look at heroes. When we think of a modern day hero, what do we think about? We think about someone who was self-sacrificing, someone who was willing to go the extra mile for someone else, someone who's willing to charge into that fire-ridden building to pull someone out, or that's what we think of. Right now, currently, with what's going on in our world, we think of modern day heroes as those nurses and those doctors and those first responders, those people that are in the first line of the coronavirus. Greek mythology, not so much. They didn't really consider heroes the way we do. And a lot of times their heroes were kind of immoral. So, for instance, let's look at, so y'all know I have issues pronouncing some of these names. I was pronouncing this Odysseus. That's not correct. When I went and hit the pronounce for me on Google, Odysseus is what they were saying, so we'll go with that. Odysseus was kind of a hero in Greek mythology, but when you hear the story, it kind of makes you wonder, what were they thinking? So he actually goes and he invades the Cyclops, okay? And he takes his food without being asked. He just steals from the Cyclops. And then he kind of waits around for the Cyclops to get drunk. And he passes out, and then he stabs him in the eye. And he was all of a sudden this big, bold hero because he stabbed the Cyclops, which was this big giant they didn't like, in the eye and blinded him. He had one eye. Cyclops, get it? Okay. So when you look at the story, though, you're like, well, how does that make him a hero? Because he took what didn't belong to him. He invaded someone's space. Like, he wasn't a nice person. But the reason they considered him a hero is because he was willing to do something that others were not willing to do. He put himself out there to do and to take and to kind of achieve this big thing, which I don't think he's much of a hero. So though Greek mythology influences us some, it doesn't completely take over what we're doing today. We have evolved some, thankfully, because I think this kid's more of a hero than that one. All right. So when we look at Greek mythology, what's a myth? They are traditional narratives, often of gods, goddesses, heroes, great deeds, and supernatural powers. They're passed down through various textual and visual sources and convey commonly held beliefs in a particular society about a natural phenomena, historical events, and proper behavior. Write that down, you're going to need it. All right, so these are some of the things that are more common for us today. For instance, we know what this is. This is the Olympics, okay? Amazon, Nike, some of us really like these shoes, and then Pandora. I know I like Pandora. Hint, hint to my husband who's in the other room because my birthday's coming up. Pandora's good. All right, so these were all influenced through Greek influence. Okay, so we're going to look at Nike and Amazon. We're going to look at these and see how they were influenced. All right, Amazon is our online retail store. It's named after the group of strong women warriors who were trained in combat and archery and known as the Amazons. So Amazon delivers everything, so women deliver, I don't know, but that's how it's named. Okay, so Pandora, which is the jewelry brand for us today, took its name from the first mortal woman in Greek mythology, and her name meant all gifted. That one I can kind of see the connection, kind of cool. Nike, the U.S. sports apparel company, is named after the Greek goddess of victory. I like Nike shoes, so that works. And cereal, my youngest daughter eats a lot of cereal. The generic name for our breakfast meal is named after Ceres, the god of grain. And since cereal is made from grain, look at that. Now, when we sit down and eat a bowl of cereal, we don't consider Greek mythology as the influence. We just think we're eating a bowl of cereal. But this just shows you how influence kind of spreads over the centuries. All right, even what we name some of our children. So when we were having our first daughter, we had names picked and we had books and we had this and we had that and we looked online and we talked to people and we looked at the names, meanings, and all kinds of things. Well, when we had our second daughter, the first one named the second one, so she did all that. Names are inspired usually from somewhere, family tradition or something. Greek mythology names have pulled with us as we have grown. Okay, so some of the names like Troy, it was a famous Greek city. Jason is a Greek hero who led the Argonauts. I put them up here because they kind of look a little Greekish goddess to me. Not goddess, god. And then Helen, which is a common name, Helen of Troy. She was the daughter of Zeus. So I've seen the movie. I think it's called Troy. It has Brad Pitt in it, and I don't think it's really anything like what it should be, but it's good to watch. All right. So everywhere we look, the influence of the Greek culture surrounds us. The names we give our babies, the brands we buy, our academics, the architecture, everything is influenced. So you have 3 questions to answer today, okay? I want you to place the answer for these 3 questions in the comments below the video. Be sure that you give me at least the class period that you usually have me for and the initials to your name, so I'll know who to actually give that credit to. Because if you're, signed in as like Pink Floyd Mama, I don't know who Pink Floyd Mama is. All right, so the 3 questions that you're going to answer for me, they're going to require a little bit of research, okay? Fashion house Versace uses which Greek character in its logo? Which famous building in America has Greek architecture? And the star sign of your birth month honors which mythical creature? Okay, so those 3 questions need to be answered in the comments below the video. We're going to post another video tomorrow, okay? And that video is going to encompass the family tree for Greek mythology. Who is Oedipus? Who is Oedipus Rex and what's his story? And then the important pieces for our Zoom meeting on Thursday. So you're going to need all of those, okay? All right, I miss you. Love you, mean it. See you later.